A man goes to the doctor. Says he's depressed. Says life seems harsh and cruel. Says he feels all alone in a threatening world where what lies ahead is vague and uncertain. The doctor says, treatment is simple. The great clown Pagliacci is in town tonight. Go and see him. That should pick you up. The man bursts into tears. He says, but doctor, I am Pagliacci.
Aren't you going to say hello?
Hello, and welcome to It Doesn't Add Up, a conspiracy theory podcast, coming to you in consecutive months, which is some kind of marvel, but...
Yeah, I think the spookiest thing about it is that we seem like we were replaced because we've actually been consistent for once in our life.
Yeah. So, this is going to be a special episode. It's our first Halloween special. And we have something a little... Well, I think everything that we've covered has been pretty scary, in a way. Some more than others.
It depends on what you're afraid of. I guess if you're afraid of data privacy, pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you believe and believe in, or don't believe. So then that'll be, sort of a litmus test. So what we're going to cover today is, if you guys remember around 2016... there was this interesting trend where everybody was seeing clowns everywhere. And it was kind of all anybody could talk about. And
I mean, they weren't like the friendly clowns either. Like, it wasn't just like the circus kind of spread to the outskirts of every city. It was like random, menacing looking clown.
I would argue that...
standing on the outskirts
I would argue
of
that
the
there
woods.
is no friendly clown. Even though, especially if a clown says that they're friendly, I would, immediately think,
Hey,
God, get this
I'm
thing away
friendly.
from me. Yeah, no, it's just bad news. So
Don't you want a
we
balloon?
will. Yeah, it's. I am afraid of clowns a bit. Like not like extremely, like where I.
No, but he's extremely afraid of his mirrors.
Yes, but that's a whole. We do not need to get into my own traumas yet. This will be enough. This will be therapy for a good,
I'm looking for
while.
a mirror conspiracy, conspiracy?
Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
If you do, we can cover it. But for now, we'll cover like my on a scale. This is probably like a 5, I guess, for me.
Is there
but we will discuss sort of coulrophobia and the fear of clowns and things like that.
You know
But,
the Candyman or like Bloody Mary? Do you think there's one with like clowns?
I mean, probably. Yeah.
Like spooky, scary clowns say it like 4 times in the mirror or something, and like someone honks in your ear.
Someone honk.
whatever clowns do.
Someone's gonna give you a big old honk. Just this honking clown. Oh,
Big honking
God.
clown. Alright, oh
boy.
So, let's get away from that idea and take ourselves back to August 2016.
So long.
Where,
we were all so full of hope.
More than 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's go to South Carolina, the deep south. That's not that deep south. But,
That's deep enough.
Deep enough. Deeper than you want to go.
Yeah.
So let's go back to August 2016, deep south, South Carolina. Where a little boy reported that 2 suspicious men dressed as clowns, one with a bright red wig, and the other with a black star painted on his face, not to be confused with a member of KISS, were attempting to lure him into the woods with promises of candy and gifts. The little boy didn't go, obviously, and instead reported it to the police.
Smart boy, get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I believe the little boy was about 9, and unlike, I feel like most 9-year-old children, he didn't take a picture or anything. Not that 9-year-olds are out here doing that.
Are you gonna do a get off my lawn Gen Z thing? Because that's kind of my spectrum of.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with the child having a phone. If he had a phone, he could have called the cops even sooner than he did. But so there was no evidence of that, but there was indeed a police report. And so from this little boy's initial report, there were more sightings reported of these clowns, unconfirmed clowns hanging out in the woods trying to lure children. And so local residents decided to start to try to take matters into their own hands by shooting randomly into the woods.
Yeah, that can't go wrong.
Yeah,
And then like
no dead clowns turned up.
Like, aren't there like just you know how like if we're driving around like Pennsylvania and stuff like that, like all those posted signs that say like, please, for God's sake, don't shoot here. Like this, you can't hunt here. So in like South Carolina, they just like don't even attempt. Like it's just a free for all, or what?
Yeah, it's I would say no man's land. That's not what it is at all. It's South Carolina, and I don't know much about it, but yeah, I will say there were no reports of dead clowns that turned up or other dead residents that people accidentally shot at. Maybe some dead deer. I don't know what's out in the woods of South Carolina. Clowns,
yeah.
Clowns, apparently. And from there, more sightings were reported across the United States, which I mean, pretty coincidental that it all just starts to happen all at once, hey. But these reports started to stretch all across the United States, from like really boring areas like the middle of Ohio, North Dakota. Nothing from Wyoming though, which I just want to say feels my own theory that Wyoming doesn't exist.
What's out there?
Nothing. It's not a real place. This is getting into another theory of mine, but Wyoming's not real, so there were no clowns in Wyoming, but boring other places all across, and 9 out of 13 provinces of Canada, and then 18 other countries across the world. They left Antarctica alone because it was a little too cold for the clowns, but yeah.
Maybe that's the clown base, is Antarctica. And since nobody else was there, it's like the Fortress of Solitude. They're fine. Nobody bothers them.
See, the Nazis aren't in Antarctica, but it's the clowns. Maybe they're Nazi clowns. I don't know. It's getting a little too deep for us. But when we were researching, we found that even our town that we grew up in, New Jersey, like our very small town that no one has ever heard of.
That's like 2 miles by 1 mile.
Had a legitimate report on a legitimate news website that said we had clown sightings. And I'll tell you, they probably did happen. They were probably just some copycat clowns.
Copycat clowns?
Copycat clowns? Copy clowns? I don't know what to call them. Imposters, clowns.
They might have had a posse.
Posse of clowns? What's that called? Is that what you call the people? Like all the clowns crammed in one car? Do you think they're called a posse of clowns?
I think it's a gathering of the Juggalos.
Like, the insane clown posse. Oh! Posse.
That took you so long to see what I was doing.
For once, it did add up.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, legitimate news sources are reporting on these clown sightings, and it was becoming like a real fear. It was very weird. A school in Reading, Ohio actually legitimately closed down one day, like after people took like a bomb threat because there was a woman who reported being attacked on her front porch by a man dressed up as a clown who held her by her throat and was just threatening violence against her and against the local public school.
Christ.
Yeah, it was very weird. There was no evidence of that, and they didn't find anything either. The school did close down because they took threats against the school very seriously, as
they should.
Schools should. Yeah. So good move there, but nothing came out of that. But yeah, they closed down for a day. But there was reportings of sightings prior to the I think it was Greenville, South Carolina. I had the name in there somewhere, but I lost it. It was, I believe, Greenville.
Yeah.
So if I ever say the Greenville sighting again, I mean that initial little boy in South Carolina. But so I know we said that was the first one, but there had been reports of ones prior to that of Gags, the Green Bay clown, because this is in Wisconsin. And he was seen wandering around carrying a host of black balloons with him. And pictures of that circulated online because people around town were freaking out a little.
Mm-hmm.
But that came out to be a local man just working on a short film. He
As
wasn't
you do,
following.
you know.
Yeah, this was this man's passion project. He wasn't intentionally trying to scare people. But yeah, whenever that was happening, those were showing up online first. And so shortly following the sightings of that guy, like when that was online, that's when the Greenville reports came out. And then that's kind of what is believed to be the inspirational source for a lot of these killer clowns.
Clown Patient Zero.
Yes, that would be. It's toss-up between whether that first Green Bay clown or the South Carolina clown is the Patient Zero. But yeah. I mean, I feel like it's fair that people were a little concerned with the guy just walking around carrying some black balloons.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just weird enough. Yeah.
It is just a clown walking around, even without anything else. I feel like the balloons make it somehow more menacing, even though it doesn't, because of, I guess, just looking at the movie It and everything, and he's got his red balloons. He's got 99 red balloons of his own.
Yeah. Luft. Yeah. But I think it's like the preparation of it. Like, he's not even just dressed as a clown. He like went through the trouble of inflating balloons and is just, like, he's got a plan and you don't know what it is.
Yeah, he wasn't like handing the balloons out either. It wasn't like, I'm here to make some people stay. It was like, no, these are my hoard of black balloons and I'm just gonna stand here and hold them.
Yeah.
I do want to say, I didn't see anything else about this short film. I don't know if the man was discouraged from using his Gags character, as he called him. If he ever finished the short film.
No. That you can't use that name. That's a terrifying clown name. Gags? Are you
Jokes
kidding me?
And gags?
No.
Like your children?
Yeah, really. Like, no. You're not allowed to do that.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm still waiting for the release of Gags and his balloons.
It's probably like on Vimeo or something. Daily Motion.
It is, but I didn't seem to find anything.
Yeah.
Please let us know if you do. I would love to see what this man was creating. By himself, clearly, too. Because it's not like he had a film crew with him. It was just him in the clown suit. So I think...
Yeah, wait, where was the camera?
In the hands of the people who were posting him online.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure who was... Yeah, I don't know what the details are supposed to be, like a hidden camera, or if he was just doing like a...
Performance?
Location scouting?
Performance art? No, if you're scouting a location, you don't show up in the full get-up.
It was a dress rehearsal?
Yeah.
But yeah, so nothing else about that, but that's a potential inspirational source. Or perhaps just the first sighting. Like, maybe this man just covered his ass and was really...
I'd hope he covered his ass.
Oh... None of that now. Take us down to September 23rd and back into 2016. A 20-year-old man in a clown outfit and mask was arrested after he was spotted crouched. I almost said sprouted or crotched.
Ooh.
Don't want either of those. Spotted crouched in a wooded area by an apartment complex. And then a week prior to that, a 25-year-old was arrested in a Walmart parking lot after numerous people called to complain about him existing there as a clown.
Mm-hmm.
And both of these people were just so angry that they were arrested. They were just claiming, oh, it's not illegal to scare people. And they were just copycat instances that were indeed... They claimed to be... It's like, yeah, I saw it was going around online, and I just thought it was funny as hell.
That's an interesting defense, is that it's not illegal to scare people.
I mean... Like, I guess you're not wrong, but, like, isn't, like, not vandalism, but you always see it.
But, say that one of these clowns scared someone and they had an aneurysm or a heart attack. Does it then become, is involuntary manslaughter or something?
I think this is, I think that's an episode of Law and Order.
Oh,
no,
probably.
Not SVU.
No,
that's Special Victims Unit.
Well...
maybe what's the one with the Miami Vice?
That's not Law and Order, but yeah.
One of those shows CSI. Probably. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's too many cop shows.
Yeah.
I can't keep them all straight. All I know is SVU because of that one John Mulaney bit. That's the only reason I know some details about that show.
That's a really good bit.
It is a good bit. That's the only reason I know details. If you haven't seen it, go watch John Mulaney's. I think that's from New in Town.
Yeah, it's his first.
I don't know. Yeah. I would recommend all three, but that's the joke that I'm talking about. But yeah, so it's not illegal to scare people as far as, I guess, the law goes. The law does not say
it's in the
you
books.
Can't scare people.
Yeah, no.
Unlike, you can't kill people. That one isn't there. But the actual number of recorded instances of occurrences like this, just people trying to scare people because they thought it was funny, which is a really common thing. I mean, people do that all the time.
Yeah.
Literally, I could not catalog them all for you because there is just so many with details. There is a whole Wikipedia page that is just dedicated basically to people who were arrested trying to scare people by being clowns, that is attached to the Wikipedia page related to this topic. But yeah, we weren't really also trying to just sum up their Wikipedia page, so go check it out.
Yeah, we would be here for 4 hours. It would be longer than the cicada.
Because they had ones from they have ones that are cataloged from Europe, from America, from Canada. Asia didn't do this.
It's like we mentioned our town. It's almost like that thing where like you go online to see sex offenders in your area. Like you can do the same thing for clown sightings, basically.
Yes, you can.
What a world!
Some people were even named, so you can name and shame these people.
Jesus,
who did the clown sightings.
Let me ask you this: what is the Venn diagram between the sex offenders and the clown sightings? How many of them are overlapping? We have to cross-reference the data.
I think, like, if you're looking for pedophiles, I don't think they're actually pedophiles. I think the copycat ones are just assholes who probably enjoy prank content on YouTube.
But I mean, again, the Venn diagram of people who enjoy that and sex offenders is there's gonna be some overlap.
Probably. Maybe we'll make that chart. You'll see for the promo. We'll be like, you won't know the context for this yet, but...
Yeah, which is what I already did on Twitter and probably scared 4 people, so...
Probably, yes.
I eat the scalps for protein.
That's only gonna make sense for the 4 people to follow us on Twitter.
So follow us on Twitter.
So that's all that's all the incentive you need, is to follow us on Twitter.
The scalps.
God, you know what? I just had a good idea for something. You know the stupid I'm gonna cut this out, but you know the stupid Fantastic Beasts movie?
Yeah.
It's coming out?
Yeah.
So isn't it like the Crimes of Grimblebum or something?
Oh, the Crimes of Grimaldi?
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh my god. See, I told you this Grimaldi at first. You're like, I'm not seeing anything about this.
Well, because you had the wrong name. That's why I wasn't seeing anything.
Gian Como. I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, that might be a good idea for.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
We can talk again because I'm going to transition here. So Billy, all right, pick up. But if this isn't your first piece of content news reporting on the 2016 fad of the clown sightings, you may have heard that 2016 was actually not the origin of the clown sightings. I feel like I keep lying to you because I keep saying, well, actually, that South Carolina instance wasn't the first one. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
But that's like where the internet latched on, sunk its deep, gritty
It's a chicken and egg
claws.
kind of thing.
It really is. But in 2014, France had an actual violence problem involving clowns. Like, please just let that sink in. France, the place known for mimes.
Yeah, if there was going to be a clown ground zero, like it would have to be France, right?
It would be France. France has nothing besides like some weird philosophy, cheese, bread, and clowns.
And a lot of cigarettes, but yeah.
Weird clowns smoking cigarettes, eating disgusting cheese while discussing philosophy.
You want to talk about you want to talk about art films. You know how many art films of that probably exist?
Too many. But I'll say, there really isn't that much difference between a philosopher and a clown, so...
I was trying to make a joke, but I can't think of anything.
It's okay. We tried. But, the first instance I found of this prominent clown violence was 14, not 4, 14 teenagers dressed as clowns carried pistols, knives, and baseball bats outside of a school in Agde. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name of this city.
That's just a gang, like
It was a posse.
Yeah.
It was. There's just carrying weapons outside of a school. I was provided with no reasoning. Like, none of these 14 children said why they were outside this school with these knives and bats and things. And they weren't influenced by, like, YouTube. Like, this wasn't, like, some sort of, like... do you guys hear about the Slenderman murders?
Sorry, I cut out what?
Did you guys hear about the Slenderman murders?
Oh, yeah.
Like, this wasn't some sort of, like, copycat instance like that. No, the 14 French teenagers, just weapons.
I think they were just playing too much Fallout.
Potentially in their clown sonas, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that what the teenagers have nowadays? I don't know what the teenagers have nowadays. I'm very out of touch.
Who are you talking to? I don't know anything.
Please tell us if clown sonas are a thing, and if they are, keep them far, far away from me.
Yeah.
But that same year, 2014, in Montpellier, it's not Pellier. There's no way it's Pellier.
Well, it's
Pellier.
I think it's Montpellier in Vermont, but not whenever it's actually in France.
Well, that place. A 35-year-old man was beaten with a metal rod by a man dressed as a clown who tried to rob him with 2 accomplices.
Another posse.
It is. The clowns don't seem to strike alone. So if you see a lone clown out there, know that you're okay. But if he's got a friend...
No, that's bad advice too. That doesn't sit right with me either.
None clown is it's the right number of clown to have.
Yeah.
But the clowns seem to strike in numbers. There is no isolated clown instance.
Just roving,
however, I'll say
packs.
This man who was beaten with a metal rod by the clown doesn't say whether the friends, I shouldn't say friends. Yeah, friends who do crime together.
Just the pals.
The posse, the gang. Don't know if they were dressed as clowns, unstated, but they were arrested. So that guy's off the streets. You're not going to get beaten with a metal rod by this clown. Neither are you going to get hit up by this 19-year-old butcher's apprentice who had dressed as a clown to terrorize children in Douvrin. I'm sorry.
All the French Canadians that listen to us are just gonna be like, dude.
Or the actual French people.
Yeah.
The Americans. You know what my knowledge of France is, besides what I said before about the cheese?
Is the hon macaron?
No, hon macaron is something I came up with. I do love macarons. See, I shit talk the French all goddamn day, but they make my favorite dessert.
Yeah.
Ooh. But I was really going to say was, did you ever see that It's the End of the World YouTube video?
Yeah, no,
it's so old.
I like started it and then I was like, why is everybody watching this?
Okay.
And then I ignored it.
Okay. So, yeah, that's actually like an albino black sheep video. Like that was before YouTube. Let me tell you, I was probably like 6 or 7 when I was watching.
Oh, that thing! I thought.
Content.
I got confused with the History of the Whole World video that everybody was watching 2 years ago.
That was a good one. It's just a guy with a synth talking kind of funny. I enjoy them. I do. I reference them for a minute, but they didn't stick with me as much as Vines do. That guy was also on Vine, and I'll say that overlapped. That timeline overlapped. But anyway, this really old albino black sheep video.
Did they call? Wait! I didn't use Vine. I don't know if you did.
I did.
Did they call the timeline the Vine line? Because if they didn't, that's why they went out of business.
I think that must be why they went out of business, because I don't believe that was it.
See?
And then when you could like repost a Vine, that was called revining.
No.
You know, like they did not really have a good platform. I don't think they were prepared for what they became.
Yeah.
But anyway, rest in peace. Back to this dumb video that I love and honestly kind of reference every day of my life. I don't know how to like explain it without saying just go watch it, but there's this line in it where it talks about it's basically this was in the height of like Bush America and the start of the Iran war.
Iraq,
nonsense.
Not Iran.
I've never honestly known. That is the first time I've ever gotten clarity on that. I'll say that right now.
It was definitely Iraq.
Nothing.
It was Iraq.
I know nothing about the 2002 post 9/11 war, all that.
Yeah.
I was 5. I've never had any knowledge actually really retained about that. So this video is it. This video called The End of the World. Yeah, I'm really sorry. But anyway, France is a little bit in it is this French dude. They're playing some cocaine. No, they were playing cocaine in Britain. I'm sorry, British. This is so long. And
Man,
so
I'm
stupid.
gonna cut this to pieces.
Please do. There's a guy. He's like, fires y missiles, and then the woman is like, but I am a little tired.
Right.
Wasn't having a nap. Then you will fire the missiles, and that's it. It's a lot funnier when you can do an actual French accent, unlike myself.
I don't think the video has a French accent either, is the thing.
It's a bad French accent, but it's better than mine. But I say that dumb line but I am a little tired all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
It's dumb. But that's my knowledge of France. I lost myself here a little bit, but go watch that stupid video. It's a treasure. It's an early internet treasure.
Oh boy.
Getting back to this Butcher's Apprentice, I love when news articles just like they have to call people something, and they always choose the weirdest identifiers. Like if you ever read like a celebrity, not an expose, but like a feature in a magazine or something, and it'll always be like the brunette with freckles took a bite of her salad as she explained, and it's like the weirdest descriptions. Like clearly people who should not be writers are people who become journalists. I feel like I just insulted a lot of people, but like because it's like the 19-year-old Butcher's Apprentice.
Yeah, I think there's a distinction between journalists and celebrity gossip.
But still, like the weird descriptions that like those like real like non-fiction content. There we go. That's what I can call it.
It's all about that SEO. Like you got to get freckles in there. You know, like
Butcher's Apprentice. I am looking for criminal Butcher's Apprentices.
Wasn't that children's book series? Was the Butcher's Apprentice?
What was it actually? Because you're right, there was Something's Apprentice.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with The Apprentice, which we're not discussing that show right here, right now.
Well, Magician's Apprentice was the Mickey Mouse thing. The Fantasia.
You're right. I loved that.
With the brooms. But then there was like a young adult series that was Something Apprentice.
The Ranger's Apprentice? Something. It's something.
Yeah.
It's something irrelevant. But this 19-year-old butcher was given a 6-month prison sentence in Bethune? Bethune? I just keep wanting to say butane.
Sure,
it's not
yeah.
butane. Butane in France.
Butte, Montana.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. The clown violence in France wasn't over yet. This led to a trend of vigilantes.
Sure.
Setting out as clown catchers. And it led to the arrest of 5 non-clowns, which is literally what they were described as. Mm-hmm. They had nothing better to call these, like, plainclothes people.
The plainclothes vigilantes, the non-clowns.
Yeah, that's how they had to describe them. I guess I can't describe them any better.
Our street gang is the non-clowns. Those clowns over there are the real clowns.
Yeah.
But
that sounds exactly like actual clown association statements about it. I just want to say, I have a quote from like a couple down below, but like genuinely, it's really bad.
Yeah, it's rough. But so, vigilantes going after the clowns. This is basically the Batman mythos right here. Like there's the whole cat and mouse with the Joker thing where it's like, well, did Batman create the Joker by becoming Batman, or was it crime that created Batman? Like it's like that whole chicken and egg thing. So this is what happened here. It's like, well, the clowns created the vigilantes.
So in other words, I'm waiting for the Joker's spin-off. Actually, isn't that happening right now? The Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Joker.
Yeah, Joaquin.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's not Joaquin.
Yeah, he's just some dude named Arthur, apparently. According to that first tease.
I thought you were talking about the actor for a second, and I'm like, that's not how you say Joaquin.
No, it's Joaquin.
Is it
it's
really?
Like quinoa. It's quinoa in reverse, holy shit.
Oh my...
Joaquin is quinoa in reverse.
You're not wrong. I'm really excited for that movie.
Yeah, it's
Why
got to
would
be
it
better
Joe
than whatever the
Quain?
hell.
Why would it ever be Joe Quain?
I don't know. Because it's not.
It's not Joe Quain.
But yeah, anybody that is not Jared Leto is, and plus also Joaquin Phoenix is actually a really good actor, so.
Yeah, no, I'm genuinely really excited for that movie. But getting back
we
to
will also get back to the
vigilantes,
we will also get back to the Joker later, so. Yeah.
We will. But we'll get into that. As I love to say.
Chop chop.
Getting back to the clown catchers, not only were they like vigilante adults, the non-clowns, there were reports of mobs of children.
Just child soldiers just prowling around.
Not to be confused with the 14 teenagers who were arrested with weapons. Now these were 10 to 12-year-olds wielding sticks, rods, and knives who were just walking around going clown hunting, as they called it.
Just a Lord of the Flies. Like, this is...
I'm pretty sure that's just it. I'm pretty sure that's what they do. They kind of get some makeshift weapons and they go clown hunting once they find out that it's a thing.
Is this how they play Manhunt now? Is this just like
what kids do? I miss Manhunt. You know what playing Manhunt was like? Manhunt was, we should play Manhunt. And then waiting until it got dark and then everyone had to go home.
Yeah,
you like much. Never really played Manhunt.
You had to get like a weird like sleepover where there was like more people, but that never really happened. No. So Manhunt never really actually happened. It was like, oh, we're gonna play Manhunt. It was the hype of that, and the hype of that made it seem like it was so fun. Oh, I love Manhunt. The same thing with like water gun fights.
Water balloon, water gun, yep.
Like you would get everything, you would set it all up, and then you'd kind of do it, and like, you know.
If 3 people would be really sad.
Yeah.
I will say the one highlight of our childhood, this is getting so off topic now, was a game that I actually started. I was so young. This widespread hockey club game of cops and robbers.
Mm.
Do you remember that? It was like, because it was like just like a giant organized tag game at the hockey club of cops and robbers, and it was like really fun. And I set it up because I was playing with the one girl who ran the food register. And then it was like after one of your games or something, yeah, we got everyone playing, and it was fun.
Yeah, now you're an event coordinator, so look at that.
I am. The girl got a promotion. I just want to say I have gone from being a very sad, stressed out college student when we started this series to like I have a job that I really want now. So progress.
But still kind of sad.
Only emotionally.
Yeah.
But you know what's really sad? The 10 to 12-year-olds who were doing these clown hunting parties, that's kind of cute almost. Like I said, like it's like a Rugrats adventure. Like
yeah, but the Rugrats didn't have weapons.
They had Tommy's toy screwdriver that they could make into anything they thought it was.
It's just you don't know which gang to trust here, you know? Like
you don't. You know who I don't trust?
Clowns.
The clown hunting party at Penn State. I don't trust anything out of Penn State.
Yeah,
Not even their grilled stickies. I don't trust them. Sounds good, but what is it really? I don't know. But that's similar along people who love talking about the Purge movies. I've never seen any of the Purge movies, but I'll tell you that I know I don't have to.
Yeah.
I've seen enough Facebook memes. I've seen everyone that like I went to high school with enjoying it, and that tells me enough. It really does. Like, oh, what if the Purge actually happened? You'd be dead. Like what? Like.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of think like, I honestly don't think it would be as bad as people. Like,
I think it would be a weird thing where it would seem like a weird government experiment, which I'm pretty sure is the plot of the movie. Don't come at me saying, like, oh, should watch the movie. Like, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer. I know what it is. And I do see that people are freaking out and boarding up their houses because they think they're going to be murdered and all that, whatever.
The last one, they got, like, Marissa Tomei to do it, and I don't know how she agreed to that.
Because those movies make a lot of money, so I'm sure they gave her a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's like it's akin with that kind of stuff. Like, oh, I'm going clown hunting. Oh, the Purge, all that. There's a breed of people that enjoy that type of content, and they're not the doomsday preppers but they're like, there's a very thin line between them. And I don't mind the doomsday preppers, but I hate the purge people.
I was in a
Say
doomsday
right now.
prepping situation. We didn't have water for a day. Like, we couldn't use the toilet. Like, it was...
I've been there.
It was dire straits. It was rough. But it's a weird thing to, like, have, you know, internet and, you know, electricity and things like that, but not a toilet or water.
I'll tell you, I can deal with no water. I can't do no power. After Hurricane Sandy, I literally, if the power goes out for more than like a second, I honestly start to panic. I can't handle it. I don't know what to do. Like, I remember one time the power was out of my house, and
I'm alright now because, like, I have, like, the Kindle, so, like, I can just...
No, I'm like, bad anxiety flares. Like, I have PTSD. Like, I can't handle not having power. It's serious.
Post-traumatic Sandy disorder?
It really is. Like, we were without power for, like, 11 days. But we also couldn't leave the house. So here's my thing. You can get along fine without electricity for a while. You just sleep, and you read, and you do things that don't require power. 11 days when you, like, can't leave the house because there are just trees down everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's not sunny outside because the weather is awful. I lost my goddamn mind. They didn't even have school because no one could go anywhere. Like, it was such a weird... That's what a purge would really be like. Post-apocalyptic, like...
Home.
You just stayed
No
home
power.
with absolutely nothing to do, getting really bored, losing your mind. You ran out of cookies.
Oh, that...
Not a good time.
Yeah. See, I can do without power, but if I don't have cookies, that's my line in the
That's
sand.
where the water is your line. You don't really use water in the production of cookies. You use like oil.
Nah, there's no vegetables, no water, just straight sugar and fat and carbs.
Flour. No, there's no water.
No.
But getting back a little more back on topic, he wanted a French clown's response to the violence. Frank Dinette says, it's a terrible development. It's not enough to put on a costume and stage a happening. You need to have an artistic goal. Which if they didn't tell me that was a French clown, I would have been like, I bet that clown's French.
I would have said that clown's like a terrorist, like a happening. Like that's just
I'm sure
that's just
sure
a bad omen.
I feel like that's probably just a poor translation.
Like, wasn't The Happening that awful M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Probably.
The Happening.
I, for one, can't recall, but I would believe it.
Yeah, that's just
he Slumdog Millionaire?
What? No.
He was not a Slumdog Millionaire, but wasn't that his movie? What am I thinking
No,
of?
that's just racist. They're both Indian.
No. Could have sworn he had a part of it. I think I just read those Wikipedia pages on the same night. Which is probably why
I'm curious how you got the link, like, between...
Probably looking at, like, movies from a certain year or something, maybe. Watch there be absolutely no relation other than the fact that they're Indian.
Yeah, I think you might be in trouble there. I might have to censor this for you, but,
Sorry.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, you need to have an artistic goal when you set out to be a clown. Like, you can't just put the costume on. That's how you're a fake clown. That's when you're a non-clown.
I think, like, it's kind of a goal.
I mean, that's why he said an artistic goal. Because if your goal is to scare people, that's not clowning. You're not a clown. You're a man in makeup who's trying to scare people.
I mean, he's kind of clowning around. Like, you know, like, there's, like, such a fine line here.
Horsing around.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, see, if you're horsing around, are you a horse in that case?
Like,
then
this French clown also has to define art. Not even just an artistic goal. He's got to now define art.
As a Frenchman, I'm sure that if you gave him the platform, he too would define art. I feel like I can see it. I can see him in his god-awful striped shirt, all akin to a mime.
Yeah.
It's probably a V-neck striped shirt.
Oh, of course. You gotta, show the pecs.
No, not the pecs, the chest hair. And he's smoking.
Well,
I'm
that's
sorry.
a given. You don't even have to say it. That's just, fact.
I hate the French.
We're gonna
Getting
get
out
the
of France
same
and going into London. In 2013, the Met Police recalled the 117 clown-related incidents, which I just need you to know is an actual statistic.
That is 117. That is so many.
Clown-related incidents. Now, I wasn't sure if there's like a compiled list of these 117 incidents, because I would love to see if they are all like people dressing up as clowns and like things like that. Like, oh, I saw a clown down the street. Or if like some of them are weird things, like the Joker, like they dressed up as a clown, but then they robbed a bank.
Yeah, it's just so
clown,
many.
Like I need to know what clown related entails. Like that does not tell me enough.
Like, wait,
But
that's not even the UK. That's just London. That's just the city.
Yeah, that's the Met Police in London.
That's just one city in 1 year.
Yeah, 2013. So 2013, not even 2016, the year of like the big social media blow up of all this shit. 2013. Which makes me wonder then too, is there a clown related incident statistic every year? Like, is it statistically significant enough to make us to you know, at one point I knew how statistics worked, and I didn't sound like an idiot just saying the word statistic 5 times.
Well,
But,
I mean, we've all been there.
But yeah, like, how does the data break down? Like, are there enough? That's something to look into. I should have looked into that ahead of time, but it just occurred to me, like, that would be something they probably looked at every year in that case. So I would love to see, compared to 2016's number, how many clown-related incidents were in 2016.
Yeah.
But it's funny, because all these European news sources and things I found on these, like, all these old violence instances, they all blamed America and American prank videos on YouTube. Yeah, I love this. You see that a lot too. Like European Twitter people too. Like, is that just a thing? Like, do you think everything wrong in the world is our fault? It probably is.
There's like a whole like effect where I don't know. Like, it depends on, I guess, the issues or whatever. But if there's a problem or something, or like a culture in America, they think that it comes to them eventually.
Huh. Because I know that, like, there's, like, yeah, like, people, what's that phrase? It's not...
Well, because, like, think about how, like, because Americans just, in pop culture in general is shaped by America.
No, I know that much. And that's because there's a word that people like to say, it's not Eurocentric, is it America-centric? Something like that, but, like, people on the internet do get very annoyed because the world does tend to be very America-centric.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like, oh, you never hear about terrible things that happen across the world, but you hear about a shooting in America, and it's like, yeah, there's always a shooting in America.
Mm-hmm.
But you all blame us for everything, and we're probably right at least 75% of the time. So yeah, that was back in 2013, before the big social media blow up, 2016. And now, it's 2 years later, and honestly, we're still seeing the same shit. Not as many clown things, but, yeah, as a result of the 2016 blow up, coming back to that though, so you won't have seen like a lot of backlash aside from like the arrests and things and people saying, oh, America is the fault for this clown problem. Following the big 2016 popularization, like, I don't know what you want to call it, the 2016 trend, I guess is the
happening.
The happening. It was a happening. It was many happenings across the world. That's the whole thing.
I think that was also the plot of The Happening.
Yeah. It was a conspiracy against the World Clown Association, where the president, Randy Christensen, which I feel like if your name is Randy, you gotta be a clown.
Kind of, yeah.
It's a clown name. Like, I would believe it.
Like Randy the Clown, like, you don't even have to change anything.
Yeah, like Randy, Krusty the Clown. Is that Krusty the Clown's real name? Do we find that out in The Simpsons?
I'm not into the Krusty the Clown lore. I probably should have been better prepared for it, but no, I don't know.
Unfamiliar. But Randy Christensen took a hard, staunch stance against the current trend of people dressing up as clowns just to frighten people. Circuses and other clown-related businesses, whatever, like, I guess, like, children's birthday parties, I'm not sure how many other related businesses there are aside from circuses, but like sales numbers actually took a significant plummet. Like people stopped going to the circus.
I think that's just economics. Like,
I
aside from
think
this,
that I don't think the clown trend was the downfall of all circuses. Barnum and Bailey's had been going down for quite a while because I did follow this because I love the circus despite eating clowns.
do you?
I do. I love circuses.
I don't like the circus, even without the clowns.
That's why we didn't go to too many because you always hated it.
Yeah, because like one, like it smells like shit. Like it's
part of the charm.
It's just animal droppings and like there's sawdust and hay and gross things, and it's hot. And like it's not. There's nothing entertaining.
Magic.
No.
The trapeze people and like that's why you gotta go to the Cirque du Soleil, which I finally went to now.
Now it's like you have this thing against the French, but that's like their biggest export is the Cirque du Soleil.
It's not even French.
Cirque du Soleil is not French.
The name is French, but the company really isn't.
No, that's French as hell. I can't think of anything more French.
See, maybe like my hatred for the French is actually just like me repressing how much I love their culture and things because I also love cheese.
You're a closet francophile.
But I don't love fancy artisan cheeses. I like 2 cheeses. But I love macarons.
You have constant existential dread, and you like cheese. It's just France.
I don't smoke. Oh no. But yeah. So anyway, it's probably just it's correlation, not causation, that the circus numbers went down at the same time these clown things were, but it was noted.
Because the other thing is that like you don't need like all these clown sightings in order to make people afraid of clowns. People are already afraid of clowns.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Again, I hate to be all. We'll get into that, but we're gonna give you the history of clowns and clowning around and all that. Cut this out. But if you pay any attention to McDonald's advertising strategies and campaigns and where they're at, if you take a look back at 2016, like around there, you'll notice that Ronald McDonald is pointedly absent from like all of their advertising efforts, which I would actually say is kind of true now as well. You haven't seen Ronald McDonald really be a feature in any of their promo materials or anything in like a while.
Yeah, I would also say that I think it's also because they moved away from advertising to children, just because of the whole like making kids fat thing, and like trying to be healthy with the apple slices.
Yeah, so I think again it's a little more correlation, not exactly causation, but I do believe that actually is around the exact time we did stop seeing Ronald McDonald. Maybe that was the final nail in the coffin. It's like, all right, clowns are already getting enough bad PR.
I'm like all this is all good news to me, Thank God.
No more circuses, no more Ronald McDonald.
Bring back Grimace. That's what. Get rid of Ronald. Bring back Grimace.
Grimace, the hamburger thief. No, that's the Hamburglar. Wow. What's wrong with me?
Thief.
Yeah, Grimace, the hamburger thief.
What was that guy that he was like a burger pirate? What was his deal?
Grimace. Grimaldi, the hamburger thief.
Oh boy.
Scalp burger.
All that protein.
If you watch Agretsuko, all that the yoga teacher says is protein in various tones and things, which is how he speaks. I got a personal reference to that. But going back to October 2016, the Russian embassy in London issued a warning to their Russian citizens, and as well as British citizens too, because of the clown scare. They were like, look, Russians, there's clowns. We want you to be aware of them, and there's a danger. And actually, British citizens too, we want you to know what's among yourselves. They're clowns.
Hold on now. Is this just fake news? Like, who do you believe? You
No.
can't believe the clowns. You can't believe the Russians. You can't,
I was about to say, it was like, you just click a link. I'm like, I found a source. Like, that was a legitimate announcement. And I mean, with all the clown-related incidents, like, it's not an insignificant deal.
Yeah.
Also, the day following the Russian announcement, Fiji which I didn't actually go into look. Fiji, like...
Yeah, Fiji.
The Republic of Fiji? Okay, yeah. I was like, where is Fiji? It's a known place. Yeah, the Republic of Fiji also warned people against clown events. But yeah. But I hate to joke on you again because 2013 wasn't the start of the clone-related violence either. And it wasn't like 2010 either. It actually goes all the way back to like the 1980s.
Yeah,
like
we're just
20 years before.
Just keep going back and back and back.
It really, I bet you could go back to before news was even a thing, and it's like, the clown, the town crier, the town clowner. Actually, that's just a jester.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not actually, because no, this like so let me just get into it. On May 6th of 1981, police received a report in Boston of one or two men wearing clown outfits driving a candy-laden van near Brookline's Longwood School. Brookline, not Brooklyn.
I was gonna say, yeah, you actually said it right.
Yeah, no, because there's a city neighborhood, one of those in Pittsburgh called Brookline. I don't live there, so don't dox me. But
yeah.
But the van either had a broken headlight, as this article said, for maximum punch buggy style kid attraction.
Do kids just go crazy for like
punch buggy?
Like, I think it's just if you see
I'll
one.
tell you,
if anything, it would make them more aware of like something's amiss.
That's true. It does bring attention to it. Which maybe that's the whole thing. It's like the kid sees the van, punch buggy, and it's like, oh, they've got candy. Like, I can kind of see the draw. I mean, I wouldn't approach one, and I wouldn't as a child either. I just love punching the shit out of you.
Yeah, you did.
Punch buggy, no punchbacks. What is that thing? Back here in Pittsburgh, they say padiddle whenever they see one of those, and they slap the roof of the car. And I just gotta say, that's so much less satisfying than turning to your brother while you're both in these crumb-infested, built-in car seat things and punching him in the arm.
Yeah, because you don't get that fleshy kind of...
No, like, you just slap the roof of your car, and then your mom gets kind of mad because the lining's probably coming out because your car's really old. Like, not as satisfying. But also, off topic again, but, like, the Volkswagen just this year announced that they're no longer making the Beetles, so Punch Buggy is no more. Until, like, they all get
brought it back.
They might have. I'm sure it's like sales were down, so they were like, buy one while you can. Like, I don't think that they're really done making those. Which, anyway, they stopped being all round, and now they're all aerodynamic, and I don't even want one anymore.
Well,
all I used to want was a yellow Punch Buggy, and now I can't get one. But, anyway, this van had a broken headlight, and they were driving around, and this was a genuine police report. And then the next day from that report, a similar report came from the Franklin Park, which I guess is a park in the Boston area. I didn't look into that. From the horseshoe playing grounds, which I've seen them, yeah, horseshoe playing courts.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, grounds, the way they phrase it, I don't know why I'm trying to use so many words. But it was reported this man reportedly only had half a clown suit on, as he was naked from the waist down.
See, this tracks. Yeah, I could picture this as clear as day.
The details, the horseshoe playing ground, the bottomless cloud.
You know what? He was being lewd with the horseshoe. You know? You know?
I don't follow, but I don't think I want to.
You know, horseshoes. You know how the game's played, right?
Yes, I do.
There's like a stick in the ground.
Oh, my dude.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
I didn't do it. This creepy clown pervert did. I didn't do it.
Sounds like you're taking the blame. I'm not the creepy clown pervert. The creepy clown pervert's the creepy clown pervert.
I was talking the Venn diagram. This is a perfect circle. Perverts and clowns.
Alright. Oh, but yeah, so that guy got arrested, the naked clown. Oh, well, I just started thinking about how nasty the back of police vehicles must be. Like, that man, I don't think they just carry around pants to put on people.
Nah, that's just
That man
primo
probably
ass.
just sits
Yeah.
free balling it right in the back of a police vehicle.
Oh, that's more than free balling it. That's an air ball.
Isn't that dog that plays?
That's Air Bud,
Air
Bud.
I know, it was a joke. Air ball. Oh. There was a Boston Globe article entitled "Pupils Warned of Clowns," which I think is we gotta bring back calling students pupils.
Yeah.
That's a word that I miss. I miss that word.
They miss an opportunity to have something about a penal colony since this guy was arrested. It's just a big swing and a miss. Which is probably how he also played horseshoes.
Oh, we gotta get away from this. The school district's investigative counselor issued a memo instructing students to stay away from strangers, especially ones dressed as clowns, which I, for one, think is sound advice.
Very good advice. 100%.
Stay away from people, especially the clowns. But I also gotta say, the school's investigative counselor, do schools have those?
You ever
All
hear
I know
like, on like older TV shows, like even in the 90s, there was like a truant officer where if you didn't go to school, he would like find you playing hooky.
Isn't that the point of Ferris Bueller, but it's just the principal?
Yeah. There's like one guy that's like, like...
Oh, that's actually the plot of one of my favorite Mary-Kate and Ashley movies.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? You're right. That is a thing.
Yeah.
All I know is
but it's not really a thing. It's just a pop culture thing.
It's not.
I don't know if it used to be a thing.
Yeah, all our elementary school had was a counselor, and I had to talk to her when I was crying in school one day because our family had people that were dying.
Yeah.
And you were always told that things with this counselor were confidential. And then I'm just sitting there crying in this woman's office. They did!
Yeah, they do.
I was sitting right there, and this woman told the teacher. The teacher walked up and was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And this counselor just spills all of my business to this woman. I'm just sitting there. And from fourth grade, I'm sitting there like my trust is being betrayed because I'm like sitting here like, I don't even know this teacher. And you're just telling me my business while I'm sitting right here, tears fresh in my eye. Like,
fresh tears.
Yeah,
like they're not a psychiatrist. There's no doctor-patient confidentiality. It's just an adult.
They said that. They're like, I'll keep your secrets, liar. I mean, good thing it was just like, it wasn't like actually something like, no, it was very personal. It was very personal, but it wasn't like embarrassing or shameful or something. I don't know what would have been shameful from being in fourth grade, but like,
picking your nose.
Bullshit from my elementary school. Elementary, dear Watson.
Mm-hmm.
But to get back on topic once again, following the reports of the Boston incidents, reports started popping up in more boring cities such as Cleveland and Kansas City. Gotta say, it's always like the middle of nowhere. Cleveland's not the middle of nowhere, but nothing happens there. Nothing happens in Kansas City either. But back then they were calling these instances phantom clowns, which I say is a way cooler way to reference them.
Yeah, but it's like undeserved. It's undeserving.
Because they're not phantoms. Well,
yeah.
I think they're called phantom clowns because like no one really saw them. Back then there was no photographic proof either. That year, 1981, people were, there were actual investigations going on in this, and the Boston police just decided that it was the minds of children was their explanation, which I just gotta say, wow, what bullshit. Who ends an investigation is like, oh, the children made it up.
But that's just weird phrasing, too. Like, they didn't just say, oh, it was their imagination. It was the minds of children.
Yeah, it's like, where did the phantom clowns come from? The minds of children.
Yeah, that's...
Flummoxed by the clown-demonium, a police officer quoted, "We have over 20 calls on 911, but no adult civilian or police officer has ever seen a clown. If it's someone's idea of a joke, it's a sick joke." So who's making these 911 calls? Children? Over 20 children went and called 911 and said, "Oh my God, there's a clown." Like,
well, I mean, yeah, like crank calls. I could buy that.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. I just don't trust the police.
Well, yeah, that's a given. But
A similar story from Chicago, like 10 years later, 1991. Actually, that's exactly 10 years, 1991. To the same conclusion that the reports, mainly from children, have varied. They seem to be near mythic proportions, tumbling out from different parts of the city, like clowns falling out of a Volkswagen. Out of the punch buggy.
Yeah.
Which I should have just realized, we just referenced punch buggy, you know that van, it didn't say it was a Volkswagen van, it just said a van, so I imagine like a creeper van.
They said a white van, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's not... Volkswagen's coming white, but I feel like you would have said a Volkswagen, so that's not a punch buggy.
I think there's like... This is like the classic Volkswagen van, like the hippie van.
Yeah.
But then I think they have like... regular kind of vans.
Oh, maybe they do. Well, anyway.
Soccer mom vans.
And then going back here on May 1990 in Wellington, Florida. Always Florida. Always Florida's the murder. Oh, sorry, it's murder.
Ooh.
Marlene Warren opened her front door to a brown-eyed clown bearing flowers and balloons. The clown shot her in the face, drove off in a white Chrysler, and was never seen again. The woman died 2 days later. And then her murder was unsolved until 2017 when police arrested a woman, Sheila Warren. The murderer had married the victim's husband in 2002.
So why wasn't she, like, the first damn suspect?
I don't know, but...
Took 15 years
I
to
want
correct
the
that one?
context. I want to know the context as to why she dressed up as a clown. Like that's a pretty elaborate plan.
What
here.
I find is interesting is that the clown was bearing flowers and balloons, yet also was able to pull out a gun from somewhere.
What I'm thinking was, I honestly, in my head, I pictured the gun was buried, like, in the flowers, so I guess maybe, you could carry flowers and balloons in one hand, or the gun in the other, and or maybe it's, like, enshrouded in all of it. I don't know.
You know what? I got it. Nope, the balloons were tied to her wrist, and on the same hand, the flowers were in the hand. The other hand's free. Right. Whip out that pistol. Correct it. Solve the case.
Well, they didn't solve the case for 27 years.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So it was almost the perfect crime. She almost got away with it. It's like Jolene. I'm begging for you, please don't take my man. Take your life and then take your man.
I don't know that reference.
And then I just want to end up this like summation, the history of clown sightings with this afterthought. 50 years ago this summer, from 2016, so 52 years ago, the same area of North Carolina that's now being stalked by clowns dealt with an actual nightmare criminal. A man nicknamed the Paddler, who would dress up as a policeman, kidnap young boys, and paddle them in the back of his car, but then he'd let them go. He was eventually caught, but after serving 10 years of jail time, he went straight back to his old habits and killed 2 teenagers. Something of a mild, if you can call it that, John Wayne Gacy. Which I just want to say, I added the if you can call it that. Yeah. They called it a mild John Wayne Gacy. I don't like getting to the point where we say that killing 2 teenagers
is mild.
Yeah. Like, no. It wasn't mild to the people who died. Like, I understand the enormous weight of how many murders John Wayne Gacy did. But, that's not mild.
No,
but,
no, it's not.
To get into some theory, which we don't have too much theory for this one. We've got a lot more history. Going back to 2016 ones, people always claim that it's marketing. And we know how I feel about this. Stop demonizing all marketing. It's not all evil. And if it entertained you and told a good story, oh well. Everything's trying to sell you something. Fight me. People claim that it was marketing specifically for the It movies that were coming out, but the timeline doesn't line up because the reboot didn't come out until September 2017, and even the original miniseries for TV, which they don't really do as much marketing for like TV series like that, even into the 90s. The first one came out in November 1990, and the second one was September 2017. So that would be a really.
I think you could argue that they were definitely making the movie in 2016, and it was known that they were making the movie. But nobody markets movies that far ahead, usually.
That's what I'm saying. That would be a really, really long-term game plan. Like, like, honestly, I'm sure if you plan that far ahead of time, it's really effective because then you've already got people afraid of clowns. Like, I'm not saying it's unheard of.
Yeah.
But it's rather unlikely, even for a big budget film, and it doesn't. The timeline doesn't line up for the original It as well. And in other instances, what would they have been marketing? There was nothing for them to market in the 80s. Unless someone like Bill, who has such a vendetta against clowns, is just like, yup, this is our social marketing campaign against clowns. We're gonna end this. It's
like the anti-smoking things. It's like a PSA, yeah.
Yeah, maybe really it was actually PETA, and this is their roundabout way of ending circuses to end animal cruelty. Target the clowns. Because we already can't get people's heartstrings about the animals, we just gotta scare the shit out of them about clowns.
Yeah, there you
go. But yeah, so looking like it's really not marketing, ineffective, not clear messaging. No, probably not marketing. This bopped around a few sources. A secret evil clown message board that's invite only. So, which if you watched our last episode or listened to our last episode, something akin to Cicada there. Invite only secret message board getting people popping up all over the goddamn world in uniform clown suits, doing nothing but showing up.
Again, I kind of
like the Cicada flyers.
I kind of go back to my Venn diagram of perverts and clowns, because that's like secret message boards is what like perverts and yeah. So,
but I mean, but the whole thing about all these clown sightings is that no one claimed actual violence from them. People just saw clowns. I think that's really the important thing too. Like, right now there's a weird Facebook trend about people claiming to see sex traffickers at like Walmart. But it's like it's like those chain messages or things too. Like, you ever see that thing that's like, warning all women and girls, if you see a baby sitting in a baby carrier and it's crying with a note attached, don't take it to that address. That's like what it feels like. like one of those things where it's like just fear mongering for the sake of fear mongering. Maybe there's a secret evil comment, but anyway, the point is, yeah, the clown sightings didn't claim any violence, but like things like that always claim like they have a whole story, and they think the more details you tell, the more likely it is to be true, which is the exact opposite usually.
Yeah.
Well-crafted lies don't have many details, so you can poke fewer holes. But the last theory, and most likely the most reasonable and true thing, is just pranks, just people who just want to scare people and latch onto the hype, because look at how fast that shit spread. Like, even though this has been happening for years, like, with the internet, it's like you upload one thing, you get the right person to see it, and then every parody Twitter account
spread this like
reposts
wildfire.
It. Say it louder for people in the back. Gotta watch out for the clowns.
Yeah, I'm glad that phrase went away.
It's still there for some
wildfire?
People. It's like, no, you're actually right. That one's gone.
Yeah, I hated that.
That's it. Louder for the people in the back. I'm like,
yeah. That one's lame too.
It's in its death phase where it's like the annoying people on the internet who get to everything last. That's who's saying it now. Yep. Like, it's on Facebook now.
Yeah, the people that were actually in the back.
Yeah,
it's like I'm in the back. Please say it louder so I can hear it.
So I stopped getting my memes 2 months late. But yeah, hype. That's what it is. Hype. People love the trend. People do love prank things. Look at prank videos and things. That's the whole thing. It's like, it's a prank. It's not even really a prank. Like let's just dissect the definition of prank.
It's a social experiment, dude.
I had an actual theoretical approach from like something I learned in college. Wow, look at that. I learned something in college it's about social norms and social norms marketing, and it's like people the phenomena where people see things on television and they start to believe that it is what reality is, because it's just what they see. And it's not that sounds like, oh, people are delusional. It's like, not really. It's just like you think something is so common because you see it in such an isolated, frequent bursts. Like so like you just see something so frequently and so common, and like, or like we even referenced it earlier in this thing where it's like on TV you always see the investigative counselor. Like, those aren't real. Yeah, it's like a persuasive advertising approach, is like that people believe what they see on TV is like the norm, so you need to base your advertising off of what people believe. Yeah. Which sounds manipulative, I realize, but like, And so that's kind of where the popularity of this comes from, why you were seeing clowns everywhere, because the combination of people loving to talk about this kind of shit and people loving to scare the shit out of people. It's like that whole... Both sides of the scale were balanced out here. Everyone's needs were met with this clown.
Yeah, so for this time, the theory behind the theory isn't so much grand conspiracy, because there really wasn't one. So instead, it boils down to, why the hell are we so afraid of clowns? And why is it so pervasive? And like, why did this particular phenomenon hit? And why did it strike such a chord with people? And so to do that, we have to go back even further. A lot further.
A lot further than the 80s.
Yeah, so we got to go through the history of clowns. And so this was me diving headfirst into a, what's it, like immersion therapy or whatever?
Yeah, well, that's what it's called. Yeah. Just throw yourself right into it. And no one will be afraid of it anymore.
So clowns originally developed out of the Italian commedia dell'arte and like the Zani character, which was a servant trickster, and it's where the English word zany comes from.
I just want to say, look at us. We're into the goddamn etymology of language.
Well, because you could tell whenever I'm going to do it. Yeah, it's like, this is my section.
That's how you know it's Bill's section.
Where I talk about
Go on.
Language and literature. So they wore a mask with a long nose, which was not unlike a plague doctor, and the belief was that the longer the nose, the stupider the Zanny was.
I'm offended.
What, just because we have giant noses? Just giant Italian noses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're stupid.
Well, it's either that or you're Pinocchio, where the longer your nose is, the more you're a bullshit liar. So.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So the concept of the fool...
Stupid bullshit liar. Stupid bullshit liar.
Yeah, I didn't even just say liar. You stupid bullshit liar.
I'm sorry. I think I've called myself that before. It just struck a chord. Go on.
So, like, the concept of the fool or a trickster is basically this analog or parallel to chaos. Think of the Joker we mentioned before, and how he was an agent of chaos. His goal wasn't necessarily as important, because like his anarchy was the means and the end. That's what he wanted to do.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Exactly. So there's an element of the destruction of authority as well. Rules, laws, and order are in the way, and they're meant to be subverted. And so we're talking about sort of Jung's theories of archetypes and the collective unconsciousness. The trickster seems to be a comedy of opposites. For every good aspect of his persona, there is an equal and opposite aspect. He is the breaker of taboos. He provides comic relief to religious myth, and he will pull off elaborate schemes to teach a moral lesson or expose the folly of men. Admired, loved, venerated for his merits and virtues, he is represented as thievish, deceitful, parasital, incestuous, and cannibalistic. Again, like not necessarily designed to be terrifying, but can come off that way with not much of a leap. So in folklore, the trickster or clown is incarnated as a clever, mischievous man or creature who tries to survive the dangers and challenges of the world using trickery and deceit as a defense. And so, like, the examples of, like, the classic fool are just, there's too many to list. It's the first usage of clown in English occurred around 1560, meaning rustic, boor, or a peasant, and may have been a cognate of clumsy from Scandinavian languages. Clown became the label of Shakespeare's like stock fool characters in his plays. So moving
his stock fool character.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's
like whatever he needed to fool it. Like the stage direction just says clown. Like that's the role. It's just a clown.
That's so great. But yeah.
Yeah. Because like think about the play within a play in Hamlet. That's just the damn clown,
mm-hmm.
man. In 17th century England, inspired by the commedia dell'arte movement, the clown became a stock character and was less of a jester and more of just like this low-class town idiot kind of thing. And it was meant to be a foil for the Harlequin character, who was sort of the more sophisticated and clever.
The artsy clown.
Yeah, and so then this is where we see the OG, our boy here, Joseph Grimaldi. He was the one in the early 1800s that pioneered the classic kind of clown features, and then what we think of as a circus clown would develop from there. And there are two main types of clowns. Most often, they're the way commedia dell'arte characters of the Pierrot or Pierrot, I don't know, or sad clown, and then the Harlequin and the English clown, and then the Harlequin were also paired. So there was these weird pairings of foils of these stock characters together. So there's the white clown, or the clown blanc in French, and it's supposed to be the sophisticated one, but is also recognized as the sad clown. And often the white clown is the straight man in contrast to the clumsy comedic stylings of his foil, which is the Auguste. The Auguste, or the red clown, has exaggerated features in red and black, eyes and mouth, which is they call it the muzzle, which, like, come on, that's just downright terrifying. And the muzzle is outlined in white. The Auguste is the Joker, the trickster, and the anarchist, and often the white clown is ordering the Auguste to do something, and the Auguste will either intentionally with malice or unintentionally via stupidity try to screw it up. And that's where it's funny, ha 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 ha. Moving on to the 20th century, in the U.S., we saw Bozo the Clown become the definitive sort of Auguste, and the Bozo show would be on the air from 1960 to 1978. Ronald McDonald would make his first appearance in 1963, and then Bozo sort of pioneered the idea of the birthday clown, and that is now a cultural staple. So the proliferation of the red clown character following Bozo's introduction is basically how we got to the concept of an evil clown. A distinct origin for the evil clown isn't as clear as we can see. Like, you know, this is just a history of clowns, right? Like, where's the connection here? The original Harlequin character was seen as this cunning devil that was not, more often than not, he was the antagonist, because he was like always trying to get with the stock. Like, there was this stock character that was his love interest or potential love interest, and just like he would come up with schemes and things to seduce her, basically. So there's this weird aspect of it. And then the classic opera Pagliacci, like one of the more famous examples of a clown, the whole plot is about a murderous clown. So that's like one of the classic examples of a clown, and he's a murderer. But yeah, but then we move back into the 20th century. So the Joker came about in 1945, and, you know, since has skyrocketed into one of the most recognized pop culture characters ever, along with Batman. It's like probably like top 5, really. There's like Mickey Mouse and Batman and the Joker.
And then, you know how popular Harley Quinn is nowadays.
Yeah, it's like hard to believe she
just
wasn't even
Joker,
like an original character. She was created in 1993. Like, think about how crazy that was. She wasn't even started in the comics. She was on the animated series. But the Joker's always the perfect foil to Batman, because Batman is all about control and justice and order, and the Joker is just straight anarchy. So think about, you know.
Can you tell me, like, Batman? I'm like looking at all the notes that you have on this, and I'm just like, do we mention Batman like every episode?
Do we talk about Batman?
Podcast? We talk about Batman constantly. Yeah. Not in this detail, but I'm just like...
It's Batman's like, you know, it's a big deal.
He's Batman.
But yeah, think about The Dark Knight and Christopher Nolan and Heath Ledger's interpretation. Joker's permanent smile, you know, like, you know how I got these scars, that whole thing. It may be a reference to medieval court jesters who had the same thing happen to them, where their mouth and lips were cut, so they were always smiling. Isn't that great and entertaining and hilarious?
Yeah, it's fun when like stuff like that's actually like, yeah, no, that was actually a historical reference. It wasn't just something clever. Like, no, that happened.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, isn't it in The Dark Knight where the Joker, like, he gives that speech like 3 different times, and it's always a different origin. Yeah, and it's always a different story, so it's like that kind of thing. In the 70s, National Lampoon introduced it was like a mock comic book just called Evil Clown. Just Evil Clown, and it was about a clown called Frenchie who was violent and you know, caused trouble.
See,
exactly, yeah. Then also, late 70s, John Wayne Gacy, infamous child serial killer. He worked as a birthday clown for
The
a
non-mild
long
one.
time. And so he was finally arrested in 1978. And so after his crimes came out, he was called like the the clown killer, and stuff like that. Even though he did not actually commit crimes as a clown, but there you go.
Yeah, that's the non-mild version. In case you were on.
Right? Yeah, I would say 33. I would say 33 kills is not mild.
The article too was just like, yeah, he killed 33 people, but he wasn't crazy enough to wear the costume.
Right? Yeah, that'd be over the line.
It's like
What is he? Some
could have
kind
been
of
worse.
nut job?
It's like, is it really?
It just would have been slightly worse for real clowns and their PR, I guess.
Makes you wonder why people choose to be clowns, and I guess they like the struggle.
See, clowns are masochistic and sadistic. They're perverts. Venn diagram. So then, in 1986, Stephen King published a little book called It, becoming one of the most famous example of not even of evil clowns, of just clowns in general. In case you aren't familiar, which I don't know how anybody isn't at this point, especially since the movie came out last year, in the book and subsequent adaptations, Pennywise the Clown is a disguise for this supernatural entity that preys on children and is able to appear as whatever they fear most.
So yeah, people think that it is why people are afraid of clowns, and it's like, no. Children were already terrified of clowns by the time it was.
But because of it, the idea of
which is why it was
John Wayne Gacy and what I've talked about just now. Killer clowns or psychopathic clowns, they're just a staple of mainstream horror in general. In just like haunted houses and sort of scare fests and fright nights and all that shit, and then also like bad B-movie horror. There's just like the idea of something that's meant to be funny and lighthearted and entertaining is actually evil, malevolent, and terrifying is kind of just like an obvious version of that trope or character, right? Like, especially if something's been around for centuries, the idea of turning it into its potential opposite seems kind of obvious.
You use the word trope. I look at the TV tropes page for clowns. There's like nothing for like positive happy clowns, but there are like 6 variations of evil clown. Let me actually read you some because it was excessive. I'm not going to read you the pages. I'm just going to read you the list of related pages. The clown, monster clown, enemy mime, villainous harlequin, depraved kid show host, robot clown, and then the main encompassing circus of fear. So that's all just clown related.
There's also something like the original, and really the appearance of clowns hasn't changed all that much throughout like 500 years. Like the basic idea is still very similar. The clown character itself is meant to be like this exaggerated and unreal and unnatural like face too. Like it's meant to be a human face, but so blown out of proportion, like a caricature of what a person should be. So it's like there's not that same level of attachment that you have to with like other people, where you like, especially as a child, like you see another person, you're like, oh, I understand what this is. Like I can recognize a face, unless you have like prosopagnosia or something like that, where you can't recognize faces. But like, you don't have that same attachment. So yeah, like a clown's features are morphed and emphasized to be distinctly unhuman, and like even if it's not done maliciously, it's meant to be unsettling at the very least.
So this is like your favorite concept.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like it's something close to being human, but not. So there's that disconnect where you can't relate to it, you can't have empathy with it, and you're put off by it. And even their behavior too is supposed to be wacky and out of order and transgressive against society. And so if like it doesn't look like you and it's not acting like you, how are you supposed to relate to it? It's off-putting.
That's getting deep.
I'm telling you, I had to,
That's a cultural issue.
Face the fear here. But yeah, according to a University of Sheffield, I think that's a UK university. I'm guessing. I didn't actually check.
Yes, it is.
Quote, clowns are universally disliked by children because they find them, quote, frightening and unknowable.
That's how people described me in high school.
Yeah, me too. So like I said, clowns' makeup can make them feel like they're like a threat or somebody that's like in disguise trying to hide themselves. And so children can't come to trust a distorted face. And children are, quote, very reactive to a familiar body with an unfamiliar face.
That's like walking up to someone you thought was your mom in the grocery store, and then when you find out it wasn't, and then it isn't, and it's like, you don't even just feel embarrassed, you just feel like betrayed and unsafe.
Yeah, you're like, oh my god, like this is not what your whole reality, like just, yeah.
It's like, not mom.
Nope.
It's like, I can't even recognize my own mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like this kind of all tracks, right? You think like this all makes sense?
Yeah. I mean, we just like this whole rundown.
Yeah. So then, why do like so many like sources and places consider coulrophobia or the fear of clowns to be irrational? Like it seems pretty mean to call it irrational, or am I just like getting defensive?
Because I think the people that call it irrational,
know. Based on all this evidence, like it seems rational to me.
I would say that the people who like consider clowns an irrational fear, those same people dressing up as clowns to make fun of people, are the same people who like believe in the purge shit, and people who just generally I would call assholes. Like, I don't know. I think there are people who try to act like they're bigger than they are. I think maybe that's what it is. It's like, oh, you're afraid of like a children's thing. They just take clowns for what they're supposed to be and don't think about.
Yeah.
People don't think about all this deep shit. Like, oh, how did the word for clown come about, and how does that actually relate to the deep-seated reason as to why we don't like clowns? Like,
you mean they don't? You mean they don't go through this whole thing to sort of explain what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
They don't cross the I's and dot the T's? So, researcher Ben Radford, he says that the idea of bad or evil clowns endures, and clowns have this ability to change with the times. As we've seen, like, they're not going anywhere, unfortunately. Even though the industry, I guess, surrounding clowns, they say is down. They're this cultural touchstone. Cultural critic Mark Derry says that the evil clown is an icon of our time.
I just want to say it's funny because Derry is the name of the town in It.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. I don't trust this dude now.
Yeah, no.
No.
The evil clown's not gonna... Mark Derry is actually It in disguise.
No. That's Pennywise. I don't like that. That's bad news.
I'm an icon of our time. Which Pennywise is.
But yeah, that dude also has this whole thing about how he thinks that, like, online trolls are a form of clowns because they're stirring up trouble and, you know, playing practical jokes on people for their own benefit or for some kind of goal.
And everyone actually hates them.
Yeah. Yeah, they think that they're being funny, but everybody really, really, really doesn't like them. Yeah. So, there might be something there.
I definitely think there is. I've definitely called them the clowns on Reddit before.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, like clown itself is like, oh, that guy's just a friggin' clown. Like, you know, like, the connotation of it is, you know.
Stupid, lying bullshit.
But yeah. Yeah, lying bullshit artists, that's all they are.
To leave us on a more positive note,
well, hold on. Let's not get positive just yet. Wolfgang Zucker, who is another researcher, says
I'm sorry, I gotta comment on his name. He sounds like the guy who writes scores. Like Wolfgang Puck or Hans Zimmer, Wolfgang Zucker.
Yeah.
It's like that guy makes scores for movies, like action movies.
He sounds like a Fallout NPC, because there's like that crazy Wolfgang guy that sells you armor in Fallout 3.
If you're Wolfgang, you're not gonna have a boring career.
And then there's that Zimmer, the guy with the androids that foreshadowed Fallout 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Oops.
So yeah, he's a Fallout NPC. Well, he says that clowns are, like, the depiction of clowns closely resembles how, like, demons and other supernatural creatures are depicted in various world cultures. So there's that. So fun stuff.
So then, to go back to our positive note, we just wanted to add an important note from the clown community, which, when I thought about it, I'm like, that just makes me think of the Magician Club from the Arrested Development. We demand to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
But I just want to leave you with a statement from them. The clowns carrying out these acts aren't real clowns, but rather people dressing up as clowns.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Non-clowns. They're
Can't be
ruining
fooled.
livelihoods. And you'll know that these clowns are fake because they won't be wearing the classic oversized shoes. And that's how they let you know. That's the giveaway. A real clown will wear the oversized shoes.
That's the fingerprint.
Wear the oversized shoes in the relationship, if you will.
But I think it's hilarious because throughout all of my research into the history of clowns, I saw nothing about the damn shoes. So I don't trust this dude either.
I mean, I've seen them and I know what they're talking about. Like, you know what, you say clown shoes, you mean giant ones. They're a thing for sure, but
Well, yeah, I know,
like,
but
how classic are they?
Right.
Yeah.
So does he really think that there's never any sort of quote unquote, in his words, like fake clown? You know, somebody that's just dressing up as a clown that isn't a real clown.
But I guess
none of them have oversized shoes. Like, is there one supplier and you have to show your membership card to get the big shoes?
I'll say no, because as someone who once worked for a Halloween store, we sold. Well, that's not true. We sold shoe covers. So I guess if they're not wearing, legitimate oversized floppy shoes, they're not just shoe covers.
Now, what if you're a smaller individual and you want to be a clown?
Could you not just wear big shoes?
Right. Can't you just get, like, Shaquille O'Neal shoes and, like, you're good to go?
I'm gonna write the the World Clown Society. I gotta scroll.
Yeah, they might have a loophole in their hands there. So then they
World
might
Clown Association.
So then they might introduce some sort of bylaw where you have to be a certain height to be a clown, and certain frame to be a clown.
Perhaps.
But then they'll think that's like, oh yeah, we solved that problem. But then now there's just nothing but giant clowns.
That's terrifying too. But I will say, if the World Clown Association ends up gatekeeping and starts keeping people out, you can always join the insane clown posse. They don't discriminate.
Yeah.
I've heard that juggalos are actually very nice people. I now know someone who knows a juggalo personally, and I lost my shit when I heard that. Because it
greatly depends. It really depends.
Because it's like furries almost. It's like most of them.
I would say furries are genuinely, like, harmless. Not necessarily the case with juggalos.
That's true too. There are fewer furry assholes.
I hear that a lot of them are
juggalos.
like, I would hear that. I hear that they're like, a lot of them are really misogynistic, which is not shocking. So
no, but
But I think it is good that we what was it, the World Clown Association?
Yes.
We got their side of the story since we had all this evidence against clowns. So I think we did a fair and balanced job of giving the full picture. Yeah.
And just remember, if you ever encounter a clown out in the wild, you're near the woods, which I just want to say, like, the woods, like who really lives, like, near the woods? What does the woods, what consists of the woods? Because, like, I used to think we lived near the woods with that patch of trees over there. That's not the woods, it's just a patch of trees. Like, if you went running through there, you'd be fine.
Yeah,
so, like,
well, it's a big country and a big world. There's lots of forests. Maybe not as many as there used to be, but there are plenty of forests. And I bet a lot of people live.
So yeah, if you're ever hanging out in the woods, It's not Shia LaBeouf. It's a clown. But you'll know
Has
that
Shia
you're
LaBeouf
safe.
ever dressed as a clown?
No, he's not a clown, but he's hiding in the woods. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Well, he's not
Eating
famous
all the
anymore.
bodies.
So.
But do you know what I'm talking about? You ever seen that video?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say
Did
actual.
you see the thing where he wore that paper bag that said he wasn't famous anymore?
Oh yes, yeah.
And it turns out he was right.
He's a good dude. Don't make fun of Shia LaBeouf. Yes.
But I think that's all we have for you this time on the program.
Keep a lookout for the oversized shoes, and you'll be fine. Don't hang out near the woods. Don't
join a
answer
vigilante
singing...
gang of clown hunters if
and
you're
don't
so
answer
inclined.
singing telegrams. It's going to be someone with a gun.
Yeah, so thank you for listening. If you missed an episode or you need to subscribe, we are available absolutely everywhere. iTunes, Google, Stitcher, every single podcaster. Apparently a lot of people listening on Castbox, which I didn't know was an app, but a lot of listeners on Castbox, so thank you for that. And we know there's a lot of iTunes listeners out there too, because we could see you. We're watching you. Not really, haha. Give us a quick rating if you enjoy the program, and if you feel so inclined, if you want to write us a small review, that would really help us out a lot, just for discoverability and other things. It really, really helps. So we'd really appreciate that.
You could even tell us that you hate us.
Yeah.
You understand.
That's fair. No press is bad press, some people say. I don't know.
But we'll take your criticism.
You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We have some cool Instagram stuff, probably for this episode, and some other stuff coming up.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
our
for,
old
like-
promo.
Yeah, and some videos and things like that.
Yeah, you can find us at IDAU Pod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, actually, because Facebook does have ads now.
Yes, that should be the correct one. But if you just do a search for It Doesn't Add Up, you will definitely find us. Somehow got the good SEO on that string of characters. But yeah, I've also been writing a lot of blog posts on my blog, which is where I host the podcast anyway. So that's deadendroad.co.co. If you're interested in reading and things like that, you should check it out. I have some e-reader reviews, some book recommendations, and things like that, and a lot more coming. So please check that out if you get a chance. And we do have a listener response segment planned. We were going to do it today, but there's just zero time to do it. So, but if you want to send us an email or something, the email is itdoesn'taddUp@deadendroad.co, or you can, leave a YouTube comment,
Instagram
iTunes comments,
shout at us on
Twitter, tweets, whatever. It's real easy.
Yeah, so thank you for listening again. Bye.